Tonight, the Knicks try to erase the bad memories of Easy Ed and a tough Wednesday. Tonight, the Celtics will have a new look. A trade gives them a general. Bob Page tells us how the Nets are enjoying the new year from the sports desk. And Walt Frazier examines the hows and whys of Patrick Ewing getting pushed around. This is Knicks Game Night. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig, along with Marv Albert, John Andres, and Walt Frazier. This is Knicks basketball on MSG. Well, if Napoleon played in the NBA, he would have had another chance at Waterloo, and General Custer would have gotten a chance to tip it off again at Little Bighorn. The Knicks do play in the NBA, and they will have a chance to erase the horrible memories of what took place on their house on Horror Hill, Boston Garden, on Wednesday night. Here are the highlights and a very great start for Patrick Ewing and company, trying to forget a sluggish loss to Atlanta. Mark Jackson steals, scores the first 6 points of the game. Knicks on their way to a 74% shooting number for the first quarter. Team defense creates another Celtic turnover. The Knicks are breezing, leading early 10-2 and 14-4. The fast break was working too. Patrick Ewing was running away from Boston and from Robert Parrish, outplaying him in the first half. Patrick Ewing attacked the hoop, and everything was dropping. Pat Riley told his team, don't stop there, and the Knicks did not. Gerald Wilkins with a beautiful reverse coming to the hoop. The Knicks enjoyed a 15-point second quarter lead, 9 at the half, 8 entering the fourth quarter. What happened next surprised even Red Auerbach. The Celtics played inspired defense, and Joe Klein shut down Patrick Ewing. Every trip up the floor was a battle against the 24-second clock. The Knicks shot 22%, scored 13 points, went scoreless for 4 minutes, and were out-rebounded 7-8. Joe Klein very charged up and spread that comeback fever to the fans. Reggie Lewis was one of those who acknowledged his support.
So Joe Klein got the fans involved, and then the fans got involved, and we got involved. When everybody's cheering like that, you know, when you're tired and you hear the fans cheering like it, just gives you more to go on.
They really did whatever they wanted to do up until the fourth quarter. You know, again, Joe Klein made Patrick Ewing receive the ball where he didn't want to receive the ball, and he was very, very physical with him, and, you know, that was the key to the game right there.
I just tried to, you know, give him different looks, you know, and try to front him and three-quarter him, play behind him, deny him. You know, I just tried not to give him the same look every time down the floor.
He did a great job on Patrick. He took his position away from us. We relied a little bit too much on him because we didn't have anybody who could knock down a jumper or step up, and that's it.
Ed Pinckney is enjoying unprecedented popularity in Boston Garden. A great season from the 14th game on. 10 points, 14 rebounds, 42 minutes. Effort, effort, effort. Meanwhile, Robert Parrish, an uncharacteristically quiet game, only 10 points, but Patrick Ewing couldn't solve the Celtics' inside pushing and strength. Pat Riley watched the Knicks lose their 22nd straight at Boston.
We're having a tough spell right now. A little bit of a tough spell, and we have to, you know, gather ourselves a little bit. So there are going to be days like this, and we have to stay strong and stay positive. We can play like that every night, play that hard. You know, we're not going to run into many teams that are going to play that hard defensively and that good in the fourth period.
And now the Atlantic Division standings, which were tied after that game, reflect a one-half-game lead by the Knicks as a result of what happened to the Celtics last night. Highlights in a moment. But first, we want to turn to the Alamo scouting report featuring the Boston Celtics, who have an awful lot to talk about in spite of their injuries. They're talking about now the trade involving Sherman Douglas, disgruntled in Miami, Brian Shaw struggling in Boston. They have switched homes. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but let's take you back to why the Knicks have a half a game 4-game lead against the Boston Celtics. Last night, Reggie Lewis started things off well for the Celtics, who took on the Minnesota Timberwolves at Boston Garden. Lewis had 29 points, this following his 33-point effort against the Knicks on Wednesday. Celtics led early by as many as 15. But the Minnesota Timberwolves began their comeback slow and steady. Thurl Bailey will sneak behind 3 Celtic defenders. He had 20 points. That gave them the lead in the second half. Chris Ford saying, we can't lose to these guys twice in the same week. Oh, yes, the Celtics can. Gerald Glass, goals Glass. He delivered 22 points. Minnesota outscores Boston 25-18 in the fourth. The all-time series against these two teams are now 3-3 as Minnesota becomes the first of the 4 expansion teams to win at Boston Garden. What a horrible week it has been for the front line of the Boston Celtics. They are aging and they are taking their lumps. Robert Parrish out with a sprained ankle, not with the team tonight as a result of what happened last night, falling deeply onto his ankle. It was badly sprained. No news yet as to when he'll be back. Meanwhile, Kevin McHale, his aging body not healing the way it used to. Off-season ankle surgery, missing 10 games with a bad ankle, now 3 more with a bruised calf. Just a moment ago, behind me, he warmed up, and we're still awaiting word whether he'll play tonight. Meanwhile, D. Brown continues to rehabilitate. He is also here with the team. Out since October, recovering from knee surgery. He'll be back late February, early March. Which brings us now to Larry Bird, who has been on the injured list and will be there for at least 6 more days. He is suffering from a bruised back, which many people believe could keep him out for a month or 2, or maybe require surgery. What we're going to look back is Larry Bird's last practice. This is 2 Thursdays ago, and the fear in Boston is that this could be, you just don't know for how tender his back is, his last practice in a Celtic uniform. Well, today the Celtics have a chance, their fans at least do, to forget about all the injuries which have piled up and think about the newest member of the team. I'm not thinking about Tony Massenberg, but more Sherman Douglas. And we'll talk about the trade, sending Brian Shaw down south in a moment.
Knicks Game Night is brought to you by the New York Times. To keep up with the sports in New York, keep up with the Times. And by the Discover card. It pays to discover the card that pays you back.
Welcome back to the Garden, where just a few moments ago the call came that Brian Shaw has passed his physical and the trade with Sherman Douglas involved is complete. We believe some background is necessary in 2 very complicated situations. It was 2 seasons ago Brian Shaw said goodbye Boston and hello Roma. A contract dispute was eventually settled in court and he was back on the court with Boston. This created a tremendously successful rotation of D. Brown, Reggie Lewis, and Shaw, who can run and shoot and play some tight D. All the reasons the Celtics drafted him 24th in the '88 draft. Last year ended with a subpar playoff effort on an ankle that was pretty tender. This year, the injury bug hit again as a strained hamstring became a tear, and a month on the sidelines, his return has been mysterious. Meanwhile, Sherman Douglas has provided the season of the holdout, this after rising to tremendous NBA heights a season ago with Miami. Douglas plays with tremendous fire and spirit, makes things happen, and wanted to get paid for it. Some teammates spoke very negatively of his holdout, especially former Syracuse teammate Ronnie Cycoli. Reportedly, they're not talking. It won't matter much anymore. Douglas returned after Miami matched an offer from the LA Lakers and now finds himself in Boston because Miami feels so comfortable with rookie point guard Steve Smith. Smith from Michigan State has maturity beyond his years, is taller and a great passer. Sherman Douglas and Brian Shaw both needed a change of scenery, and now they've gotten it. If you want to compare numbers, you can by looking at this sheet. Sherman Douglas with more points than Brian Shaw, more assists than Brian Shaw, a better shooter than Brian Shaw, just not as good from the free throw line. A few moments ago, John Andres asked Dave Gavitt, CEO of the Celtics, to explain the deal.
Well, I think it was really an opportunity to get Sherman Douglas more than we were trying to move Brian, although I think Brian was really kind of stuck. He had a tough preseason, and things were really kind of going wrong for him. And we just thought that Sherman really brought a kind of a feistiness and some leadership skills to our team. He was really a pure point guard, and both Shaw and Brown are really 1.5s that we're trying to convert to points. And it just seemed to us that Sherman was somebody that if we could get him, we ought to get him. And the fit worked in the cap, and hopefully it'll be a good deal for both Miami and us.
When you get a young player like that, Sherman Douglas has habits, like all players do, of holding the ball. It seems that with Miami, at any rate, he held the ball a lot. Do you feel that could be a problem with him?
No, I think that, you know, our team's a little bit of a different team, and we're trying to mix these old guys with quickness and speed, and it's very delicate sometimes, but I think that we've got a strong enough post-up game, people who know how to get open, that there'll be a lot of targets for Sherman to get it to. Miami's really a team that's up and coming, as we all know, but it's not a very big team. Cycli's the only true big man they have. In Boston, I think he'll have some big targets that'd be pretty hard for him to miss, so we're confident that Sherman will fit into our system.
For right here now, I'm glad to be a Boston Celtic. I think that with the team they got, with the veterans and the youth, it's a great mix, and hopefully we can blend it together and try to accomplish a great deal here.
Dave Gavitt was one of those who spoke of Brian Shaw with mystery, as I alluded to. They just didn't know where his head was at. Since his return from injury, he just seemed to be out of it. It seemed as though both players really needed a new beginning, and now they have it. When we come back, we'll visit with Walt Frazier, who'll try and discuss what happened to Patrick Ewing on Wednesday night. It's a very pushy situation.
Inside with Clyde is brought to you by the Discover Card. It pays to discover. The card that pays you back.
This is officially Inside with Clyde. Walt Frazier with me. And Clyde, when you look back at that fourth quarter, there were so many ways to dissect what went wrong with the Knicks. You really have to point to what didn't go right for Patrick Ewing in his battle with Joe Klein. How would you summarize their efforts in the fourth?
Well, it's easy, Al. Klein was sublime. He smothered Ewing. He has the hustle and muscle to deal with Patrick Ewing. He's 7 feet, 270 pounds of fury. So he muscled Ewing off the blocks, forced him further out on the perimeter, and he was not very effective.
Now, you look at Joe Klein's numbers, and you really don't see anything fantastic. Watch these replays, and you'll see some very fantastic
There, Ewing on the block. Watch when he pivots, folks. He's 19 feet away, so Klein will put his body to him to deny him. Good job along the baseline. So it's that type of effort from Klein that inspired the Celtics down the stretch.
Here's another look.
Yeah, same scenario. Ewing trying to get inside. Klein inhospitable right here, hustling and muscling Patrick around. So finally Ewing frustrated, exasperated, and the Celtics come up with the rebound.
Patrick Ewing completely shut down in the fourth quarter. Now watch this one. This is one of the best because this is another one of the Knicks' chances up the floor. 24-second clock is ticking down. That's the shot they wound up with.
Right, and that's why Ewing is not effective down the stretch. You saw that time a 20-footer along the baseline, and there are the numbers to prove the diminishing returns for Ewing down the stretch in Boston.
All right, that's the whole team, 22% from the field. Their lowest quarter of the season, only 13 points. This then is another game in which the Knicks have to say, let's try and forget it, just as they did with the Atlanta game prior to that Boston game, and here they have another chance against Boston tonight.
Yeah, I think they will. I have no problem with them coming back. You know, people often talked about the fortitude of players is what's in your heart, and I think the Knicks have that determination, and they were short tonight.
All right, now it's not only Patrick Ewing, it's also Charles Oakley, among others. John Starks is slumping, but let's focus on Charles Oakley. Clyde, scoreless 2 games in a row, and he's only taken 3 shots.
Yeah, the Oak has not had the stroke, but they wanted him to concentrate more on rebounding and defense this season, but so he's lost his confidence with the perimeter shot, and look at those dreadful numbers for Charles Oakley.
Okay, I'll be back at halftime with Walt Frazier. That'll do it for Knicks game night, which is not completed officially until we get an update from Bob Page at the sports desk, which will be coming your way in just a moment.
Night has been brought to you by...
It's got to be.
Like square dancing in a blender.
Rebellious, proud, nasty.
Hard rock. Put in 5th gear.
Heavy metal is, or originally was, loud. And unlike today's thrash music, it wasn't fast. In fact, its many critics found it leaden and ponderous. Heavy metal was made with guitars, played exclusively by young men. Its themes were anti-authoritarian, often in a melancholy sword and sorcery mode, and were aimed directly at testosterone-plagued adolescent boys, of which a new crop, of course, sprouts up each year, thus assuring heavy metal a virtually eternal audience.
You look the part, you know, you live the part, you go to concerts, you buy the records, you watch the videos, you get the posters. You live like almost like you're in a heavy metal band.
You know, they got their ripped up jeans or whatever, their gold belts, 63% through 3 quarters and led by 8. Finally, the streak was going to come to an end. The Celtics had a different outcome in mind. They owned the 4th quarter and sent the Knicks back to New York with consecutive loss number 22. Now, just 3 nights later, the Knicks will look to avenge their most embarrassing defeat of the season as they battle the Celtics for Atlantic Division supremacy.
Don't leave home without it.
We welcome you to Madison Square Garden for the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics meeting for the 4th time this season, and the Knicks hoping to turn it from the Wednesday night loss in Boston. The Knicks at 20-11 have lost 2 straight, 4 of the last 7, but they still lead the Atlantic Division by a half game over the injury-ravaged Boston Celtics. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with John Andres. And, John, we're looking at a Boston Celtic team that has been hard hit by injury. A Celtic club that sports a new look. Last night, Brian Shaw dealt to Miami in exchange for Sherman Douglas. And the general, Sherman Douglas, will make his Celtic debut tonight against the Knicks.
A lot of people were interested in Sherman Douglas. The Lakers put their money on the table, and through the complications of the NBA salary cap situation, the Celtics reached out for him and took him from Miami, and what a big move it should be for the Boston Celtics. Sherman should have quite a career with the Celtics. They're delighted to have him, needless to say. He's a relentless player, a tough player. He plays very hard. First team all-rookie in his initial year with the Celtics 3 seasons ago, and it's unbelievable to think he was a 2nd-round draft pick. But he proved he belonged in the NBA, Marv. He proved it in Syracuse, and he certainly has proven it here, and it should really make things bright for the Celtics.
I mentioned the Boston injuries. Well, Kevin McHale is out on the floor. He will give it a go, but this is a Celtic club without Larry Bird, without Dee Brown, and now Robert Parrish, who suffered a sprained ankle in the loss last night at home to Minnesota, did not make the trip, so he is out of action. And the Knicks in a situation where they do not want to blow this opportunity once again against an undermanned Boston team.
No, the Knicks had a very good situation going into the Boston Garden the other night. The feeling was they were going to take it, and they certainly looked like they were going to for the first 3 quarters, the way they shot that ball. 63% from the field for the Knicks. Celtics not that far behind at 52, and that's what really had to put some fright into the Knicks. But things got going in the 4th quarter, and the incredible pressure of the Boston Celtics on the defensive end made things very difficult for the Knicks. They had a clinic, but they received a clinic in how to play tough defense. Wherever the ball was, there was at least one Celtic. They used up all 24 seconds at one point trying to get a shot up, and it missed, as did many of the Knicks shots in the 4th quarter. They were cold. 4 out of 18 in the 4th quarter, 22%. The Celtics weren't hot themselves, but they shot the ball well enough to pull out a win. The relentless pressure the Celtics put up in that Garden, where they got great support, was enough for them. It was a very inspiring victory for the Celtics, Marv. They're going to need that kind of effort every night, though, the way their team has been going. But they had it the other night. It might be tough here tonight at Madison Square Garden, though.
And here at the Garden tonight, it is a sellout crowd that is still filing in. The Knicks and the Celtics getting ready. We'll be back with the lineups in a moment.
People is a tribute to the spiritual side of the champ. And when the greatest retires from the ring in 1981,
And you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of
Susan Waldman of WFAN Radio. And now we are ready for the introduction of the starting lineup.
Tonight's game features the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. Here are tonight's starting lineups. First for Boston. At guard at 6 feet from Boston College, number 5, John Bagley. At guard at 6'7" from Northeastern, number 35, Reggie Lewis. At forward at 6'5" from Iowa, number 34, Kevin Gamble. At forward at 6'9" from Villanova, number 54, Ed Pinckney. And at center at 7 feet from Arkansas, number 53, Joe Klein. The trainer is Ed Lacerte. Assistant coaches Don Casey and John Jennings. And the head coach is Chris Ford. Robert Parrish and Larry Bird are injured and will not play. And now, please welcome your New York Knicks. At guard at 6'3" from St. John's, number 13, Mark Jackson. At guard at 6'6" from Tennessee Chattanooga, number 21, Gerald Wilkins. At forward at 6'8" from Wichita State, number 32, Xavier McDaniel. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley. And at center at 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, Patrick Ewing. The assistant trainer is Tim Walsh. The head trainer is Mike Saunders. Assistant coaches Dick Carter, Paul Silas, and Jim Van Gundy. And the head coach for the Knicks, Pat Riley.
So we're set for the fourth meeting of the season between the Knicks and the Celtics. There's the newest Celtic, Sherman Douglas. Earlier, John talked with Celtic coach Chris Ford about Douglas and asked Chris how much time will Sherman see tonight in his debut.
He doesn't know any of our plays. The only thing I'm going to ask him to do is push the ball up the floor. We feel that he's a true point guard, someone that we need to run the team with experience in the backcourt.
Well, last season with Miami in his second year in the NBA, Sherman Douglas averaged 18.5 points per game. He's the only point guard to lead his team in scoring, but he's not shy about pumping the shots up. There's Kevin McHale, who was a question mark for tonight because of a bruised right calf. He has been hard hit by injury these past couple of years. As you know, Larry Bird sitting it out with a bad back. Took a nasty fall in practice last week. The Celtics say the injury unrelated to the back surgery. Dee Brown still recovering from knee surgery. And as we mentioned earlier, Robert Parrish sidelined by a sprained left ankle. So things are very tough. This is not the usual Celtic lineup that you are accustomed to seeing.
But they find a way to win games, and the Knicks had better be serious tonight. They've also had 2 days to practice since Wednesday night's disappointing loss. The Celtics played last night and were shocked by Minnesota.
It goes without saying, John, that there's Ewing with the drop step. Ewing on the rebound, and the Knicks lead it 2-0. Goes without saying that a loss tonight by the Knicks would be totally unacceptable. Totally. How's that for a little pressure on the ball?
How about a 3-point win?
Here's Gamble, and the game is tied at 2. Last night at home in Boston, the Celtics were beaten by the Minnesota T-Wolves 104-94. Celtics led by as many as 15 early in the game. And Ewing was hit. The officials are Paul Mahalik, Ed Middleton, and Woody Mayfield. Joe Klein called for the foul. Minnesota last night with the victory ended an 11-game road losing streak. A very sweet win indeed for former Boston Celtic coach Jimmy Rogers, now the head man of the Timberwolves.
Also for the expansion team club, the 4 expansion teams of the last couple of years, that was the first time one of them won in Boston.
Xavier McDaniel getting the very friendly roll. The last 3 Saturdays have been superb for Xavier McDaniel. He has had big ball games on Saturday. It's the Knicks 4 and the Celtics 2. Gamble guarded by McDaniel. Bagley played by Jackson. Bagley off the hesitation dribble goes to the reverse.
What a gorgeous drive by John Bagley going left, scooping it up there so beautifully. He got around Jackson too easily.
Ewing being played by Klein. Bill Klein had a strong game against the Knicks on Wednesday in Boston. Here's Bagley firing. And a loose ball foul called. Gamble getting to the rebound, but in the process called for a push, and apparently something was said. A technical foul has also been called as a follow-up to the personal. And apparently Gamble said something that was not appreciated by Ed Middleton.
Something about the word feistiness with the Celtics. I noticed in the description of the arrival of Sherman Douglas by Coach Chris Ford and the team president Dave Gavitt, they both use the word feisty. They like him for his feistiness, and perhaps they're setting the way here for Sherman with some feistiness of their own out in the court.
Does this mean, John, that we're going to hear that word throughout the broadcast tonight? You sometimes get stuck on certain words, so
Marv, it's my duty, should the Celtics continue to be feisty, to mention it.
Nice pass from Jackson. And the tip by Wilkin. It's the Knicks 7 and the Celtics 4. Gamble. Nice move to the left as Gamble is able to hit on the pull-up. And that is an inbound violation. Oakley in throwing it in. Stepped out. Sometimes players will get away with cheating on the inbound. John, as you know, similar to the second baseman or the shortstop just glancing over the bag on a double play. You can see Oakley trying to lead a fast break. Reggie Lewis cuts it. I should say gives the Celtics a 1-point lead.
And how costly that turnover turned out to be.
Ewing lost it.
The Knicks must pass the ball, share it, make the Celtics work on defense. That's where they failed in the 4th quarter.
It will be Nick Ball
of the game the other night. And if they go into this one-on-one business, as Patrick Ewing is doing, or Mark Jackson started to do, it is not going to help their team effort.
Tonight for the Knicks concludes a 4-week stretch in which they played 10 out of 14 games at home. The Knicks a half game in front of Boston. Gerald Wilkin has hit from long range and with a tip. The Knicks lead it 9-8. 3 minutes have gone by. Klein.
I don't understand Patrick Ewing double-teaming John Bagley 25 feet from the basket. It just shouldn't, you know, there's no need to do that.
Boston with a 10-9 lead. Oakley had it knocked away. Jackson on the recovery. And he'll go to the foul line. He was hacked. Gamble called for his second. Kevin Gamble had a long one last night against the T-Wolves. 42 minutes, 4 for 13. Gamble sitting down, and this is Rick Fox. Impressive-looking rookie out of North Carolina, first-round draft pick. Saw his club lose to John McLeod's Fighting Irish of Notre Dame earlier today here at the Garden.
What a thrilling game for John McLeod and his team. Boy, the way things were going in the first few weeks of the season, I'm sure John McLeod wasn't looking forward to the trip here, but what a fine week they had, capped off with this one today.
Jackson with a good follow. Game tied at 10. Now Fox on McDaniel, and Xavier turned it over.
As he did the other night to Fox, who played him very tough in one sequence in the fourth quarter. Took the ball right away from Xavier.
Reggie Lewis fighting through a screen. And a holding foul called on Wilkins. Last season, the Celtics swept the Knicks. They took 5 out of 5. This year, Boston has won 2 out of 3, winning twice in Boston. The Knicks winning here in mid-December. And Lewis was hit from behind by Ewing.
That's a tough one for Ewing to buy. He came from behind to block the shot. It looked like a perfectly clean block. The official, of course, had the better angle, however. We'll take another look. Ewing from behind. Perhaps he did get wrist, but it was good pursuit and help by Patrick Ewing.
We talked earlier about all the injuries that have beset the Boston Celtics. Well, Reggie Lewis has been playing hurt. He's bothered by a bad back. Had a good one last night. 29 points, 12 for 24. Burned the Knicks in Boston on Wednesday to 33 points. Boston with a 2-point lead. 4 minutes have gone by. McDaniel trying to post up on Fox. Wilkins to the scoop. Bagley putting moves on.
Beautifully done by John Bagley.
Celtics lead at 14-10.
Looked like it was going to be a layup all the way. Then he stopped, deceived everyone with that fall-away jump shot.
Bagley helping out. Jackson had the open shot. He drew the foul. Called on Ed Pinckney.
Celtics succeeded in getting that rotation as 2 men guarded Ewing, and Mark Jackson picked up the pass, but not enough to stop Mark from drawing the foul.
Jackson, a 71% free throw shooter. It's been a quiet period for the Knicks with the 2 days of rest following the game in Boston, but things begin to heat up. They'll play at Orlando on Tuesday. We'll be on hand starting 7:30 on MSG2. Wednesday, the Knicks are home for the Portland Trailblazers, then Friday at Milwaukee, Saturday at Cleveland.
Mark Jackson would love to repeat his performance the other night in the first quarter. 8 assists alone in the first quarter up in Boston.
Celtics 14 and the Knicks 12. Bagley met by pressure from Jackson. He's going one-on-one and then gives it up. Here's Lewis. Good shooting first quarter by Boston. McDaniel getting down. And the Celtics now lead 16-14. And the Knicks go to pressure. McDaniel nearly forced a backcourt violation on Fox. Took a lot of time, though, for the Celtics to get up court. Shot clock is at 5. Bagley for 3. And Fox coming over the top is called for the loose ball foul. Boston is over the limit at first. Pat Riley calls for time with 6:53 to go in this first quarter. Pass, Gill in trouble, and here's Gerald Wilkins. 3-on-2 Nick Gray. Wilkins shows it right and delivers it right.
Discover a remarkable advance in automotive technology and personal service.
We mentioned this, a Boston club playing without Robert Parrish. That's the scene last night against Minnesota when he went down and sprained his ankle, and he did not travel with the club, did not make the trip. So the chief, Robert Parrish, sitting it out. Boston severely hit by injury. Larry Bird, D. Brown on the injured list. Parrish with a sprained ankle. Kevin McHale is with the club, has not played to this point. He's on the bench, bothered by a bruised calf. And Xavier McDaniel to the foul line with the Celtics over the limit.
Well, the Knicks once again need very strong forward contributions tonight. They missed Xavier the other night in the fourth quarter. He kind of tuned out with 1 point, finished the game with 13. Charles Oakley, of course, the last 2 games in 56 minutes of play has failed to score.
And we're told that Patrick Ewing hurt his right elbow just moments ago. Wilkins called for the foul. He is wearing protection on that right elbow and will hang in. Reggie Lewis to the line. The Celtics have had a hot shooting first quarter. They've connected on 7 of 9 from the field. John Starks, who has struggled over the last 2 games, getting set to check in, and here's it from the crowd. John celebrating, though. His wife, Chelsea. Check that. A new addition to the Knicks squad is Chelsea Starks, to the delight of John and his wife, Jacqueline. Chelsea weighing in at 7 pounds, 11 ounces.
Great number to weigh when you start in the world, right?
7-11. Oh, not bad.
That's a hit.
Here's Jackson. And the Celtics lead it by the score of 18-17 with 6:15 remaining in this first quarter. So Starks has come on, replacing Wilkins. Starks now guarding Lewis, and they are in a battle for position. Lewis isolated against Starks. And the foul called on Starks. Basket will not count.
The way the play started, Lewis wanted to use his height advantage, as he has continued to do against the Knicks this year to success. But Starks forced him outside. But Lewis has a lot of answers in his offensive repertoire, and he went to that jump shot and drew the foul.
Boston with a front line of Pinckney, Fox and Klein, Bagley, the point guard, and Lewis, the shooting guard. Ewing jumping out to help. Illegal defense called for the first time on the Knicks.
Knicks switched very well with Charles Oakley coming up, as Ewing justifiably jumped out to double on Lewis, who is so dangerous anywhere in the half-court offense.
So the Celtics get the new 24 to work with. Bagley goes to the left-hand dribble. And he's called for traveling. Ewing very active gambling in that the Knicks do not consider Joe Klein an offensive threat, so he continues to double up. At that time, he calls the traveling violation. Starks from downtown. So John Starks hits the three-pointer, and the Knicks lead at 20-18.
Good ball movement gave Starks plenty of time to line it up.
Starks over the last 2 games, only 9 of 32. Pat Riley has said that John may be shooting too quickly. Jackson wowing the crowd with his dribbling exploit. Ewing. Good box out by Ed Pinckney, and he's hit on a reach-in. Oakley called for the foul. Check that. McDaniel picks it up. That's his first.
Boy, Ed Pinckney has the knack to hit the boards well against the New York Knicks. The last 2 games, as a matter of fact, he has been dynamite, particularly the ones in Boston, however. I should say the 3 games he's been very effective. The ones up there, he really hurt the Knicks when they won both games in the
Right, the crowd has no lose.
guts player, and is a real problem for the Knicks around the boards. He is testing the will of Oakley and McDaniel on those backboards.
Ed Pinckney, a product of the Bronx.
Eddie, we got one. Let
Spent 2 years with Phoenix, year and a half with Sacramento. This is 3rd full season with Boston. Proved his value last year, in particular in the playoffs. Had a red-hot playoff series and was so effective off the offensive board.
Those 14 rebounds on Wednesday consisted of 2 in the first half and 12 in the second.
The Knicks and the Celtics tied at 20. Starks, beautiful move. He went to the reverse as he was able to slice the lane. Lewis called for the foul, his first.
This is the kind of move the Knicks could not execute in the 4th quarter the other night. The Celtics were not allowing any penetration by the Knicks. But what the Knicks are demonstrating here is that they can pick them apart. It's very important, Marv, that the Knicks play at an intense pace tonight. Celtics should be a tired team. We know how many people are injured and worn down, but they should be a bit tired. They flew down this morning to New York, and if the Knicks set a very hefty pace out there, they should wear them down.
John, how about yourself? I know you spent time at the Oldies concert here at the Garden last night, watching Little Anthony and the Imperials, and I thought it was quite embarrassing, dancing the aisles with Leon the Belmonts performing, and Benny King.
Oh, it was a blast. But I think the best was when Cousin Brucey, who's the cousin, we're all his cousins, right, as you know, reached out for you to come up and get a hand. That was really nice of the cousin. I know how happy you were to jump up on that.
Really appreciated it, yes. Here's McDaniel. Oakley missed the tip. And the save ends up in the backcourt. Starks taking the backcourt violation to keep it away from Fox. Good play. But it will be Boston ball with 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter. It's the Celtics 22 and the Knicks 21.
How embarrassing that would have been for the Knicks if that long pass that went right to the Celtics basket ended up in a Celtic hand for a layup. Can't throw that pass that far in the enemy's territory.
Now Lewis off the back end. Oh, what shot by Reggie Lewis over John Starks. Lewis has 12, and the Celtics lead by 3.
Marv, he is the man for the Celtics on the offensive end, and he played 46 minutes last night.
Xavier McDaniel going one-on-one, but able to line drive it home, and the Boston lead is 1.
Starks has a big job on his hands dealing with Lewis.
And Ewing jumping out, and Klein stripped by Oakley, but he could not hang on. Good play by Charles. However, it will be Boston ball with 10 on the 24. Well, Patrick Ewing took the brace off the right elbow. Either it was bothering him or he's feeling better. We're coming up on 3 minutes to go in this first quarter clock with the shot clock running down out of Heave It. Here comes Starks. Jackson. Mark Jackson hitting with the driving hook over Ed Pinkney to give the Knicks a 1-point lead.
Boy, did he react to the sight of big Joe Klein in front of him at the foul line. As if to say, I know I can take him.
This call away from the ball. It's a hold on Oakley, and a Celtic timeout taken with 2:47 remaining in the first.
46 to go. Tim Kerr back in the lineup after missing 39 games. We asked Roger Nielsen what
Real winner knows how to party right. Please use good sense when you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. Well, the target for the Celtics, or I should say from the Knicks defensive standpoint, is this guy, Reggie Lewis, backing in John Starks, using that 3-inch height advantage to great success.
Knicks with a 25-24 lead, 2:47 to go. First quarter, again, the Celtics to the line. The Knicks over the foul limit. Good shooting first quarter for both clubs. Boston at 9-13.
This is a reversal from the other night in Boston, with the Celtics red hot.
And Reggie Lewis has been perfect. 4 for 4 from the field. Now 6 out of 6 from the line. 14 for Reggie. And the Celtics lead 26-25. McDaniel and Lewis on the rebound. Shot clock at 8. Bagley. Pinkney trying to keep it alive. Knicks have the numbers. Here Starks for 3. And the foul against the Knicks. So once again, Boston to the free throw line. Going on Oakley.
Pitchers change. Messier comes on with Amante. And Gartner. Tugnut stops the puck. 52 seconds to go on the power play. Patrick in the corner. Lasician is there. Around the Messier, looking for Gartner. Deflects it, saved by Tugnut. Beautiful play.
The play was behind the net when...
Joe Klein in his 7th year out of Arkansas. He was acquired from the Sacramento Kings along with Ed Pinckney in the deal for Danny Ainge and Brad Lohaus. That was back in February of '89. Now Anthony Mason replaces Charles Oakley, who did not score.
Big Joe did a nice job last night in that disappointing loss, however. Parrish got hurt. Klein played most of the second half, 11 points, 7 rebounds. Those are good numbers for him.
Boston with a 3-point advantage. Just under 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. Mason. Here's Jackson. Yes, and here counts.
Mark Jackson with his uncanny ability to release the ball in the territory of bigger people and release it successfully. Does it again. High-arching layup. What a tough shot.
Foul committed by Lewis. That is his second. Good offensive start for Jackson. Celtics 28 and the Knicks 27. Boston comes in at 21-13. On the road, they've won 7. They've lost 9. Oh, wide shot by Reggie Lewis. Everything going in for Reggie. 5 out of 5 for the field. 6 for 6 from the line. He has 16 points. Celtics lead it by 3. He cut it to 1. Ewing with only his second field goal.
He can wear down Joe Klein, though. Klein's not used to playing big minutes, and the Celtics need to get as much as they can out of Joe Klein.
Klein.
That's not his shot on the move, shooting that jump shot.
Little fadeaway pop attempt by Joe Klein. Knicks with the ball down by 1. 50 seconds to go in the quarter. Ewing with a good fake. Klein on the recovery. Chris Ford calling out a play from the bench. Shot clock at 5. And Klein shows the touch. Boston leads 32-29. We're down to 20 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutwig, Walt Clyde Frazier from the Garden. This crowd looks to be a sellout. Jackson again to the scoop. So Mark has 11. The Knicks are down by 1. Final seconds of the quarter. Bagley able to get down court. And that's the end of the first. The score, the Boston Celtics 32 and the New York Knicks 31. So they are 4-5 as they knock off Dean Smith and the Tar Heels. Kind of an Irish theme today, John, from Notre Dame to the Boston Celtics.
Very perceptive of you, considering you were sitting in the studio all day at NBC, Marv, for you to come up with that ditty.
No, actually it was pointed out by Al Troutwig.
I must say that young John McLeod looks quite young, and looks like Notre Dame campus life is dealing,
he's searching for words here.
Handling it very well. Well, in case John is listening, I want to hit it just right. He looks great.
All right, Starks with a hard driving move, and the Knicks now lead at 33-32 with a minute gone by in this second quarter. Greg Anthony getting set. Come on for the first time. Kevin Gamble has returned for Boston. Up front with Fox and Klein. Shot clock at 2. Bagley for 3. And Starks leads the break. So the X-Man has 9, and the Knicks take a 35-32 lead.
All Xavier did was run hard. Starks did the great hard work out there to make that happen.
22nd timeout taken by Chris Ford.
And this is what the Knicks need more of, running, intensity, and pace going in their direction. Starks with the perfect bounce pass, and Xavier has to love that. That deserves a nice big thank you from Xavier to John Starks.
Chris Ford saying earlier with the Celtics so severely hit by injuries, their only chance under these conditions is to go out and work hard defensively. He said that Boston needs intensity and passion, in particular at home. That's the only way to get the home crowd back into it. I know they were into it during the course of that comeback against the Knicks on Wednesday, but Ford points out that Boston Garden, for the most part, has been dead all season long. I thought they had problems in that area last year, except for occasional games. Certainly it helped when Bird is in the lineup,
To say the least. And McHale and Parrish.
McHale is here, but has not played. McDaniel, yes. And the Knicks now lead it 37-32. This is the Boston club without Larry Bird, without Robert Parrish, without D. Brown. McHale, bothered by a bruised right calf, has not played yet. McDaniel got a piece of that. Jackson leads the run. Here Starks. Yes. So the Knicks now have caught fire, and the Celtics will talk it over.
Pass LaPointe. Smale goes over. He's tied up with Amonte, who kicks it loose. Bukaboom with Smale on him. Hit by Ragland. Puck is still loose in the corner. Smale battling Messier. Ragland works it free. Ragland checked by Bukaboom. And a stick up gets up by Ragland, but Messier and Smale are involved.
Right. This is it's kind of like a pepper pot line that Quebec has on the ice with Ragland and Smale and LaPointe. And they work pretty hard. They like to take the body. You'll see right here, Ragland hits Bukaboom. The Nordique work the puck deep. Messier will end up with Smale. They're in the corner. The sticks are up with both players.
And both players get called for penalties. So Smale and Messier go off at 17:03. No loss of manpower on the ice. Rangers leading 1-0.
News on Mario Lemieux. He did not play last night for Pittsburgh in Calgary. And today, as the team went to Vancouver to play tomorrow, Lemieux was shipped back to Pittsburgh. Gone home. He will have his back re-examined on Monday by the doctor in Pittsburgh. And they're concerned. They don't know how bad it is, but at least he's gone home to have it taken care of.
Chronic. And every so often he needs to rest, and it's been acting up on him the last week. Broughton sends it out for King. King moving against Tatarinov. Loose puck. King plays it across. There was an offside at the late offside whistled against.
This Tuesday starting at 7:30. It'll be the Knicks and the Orlando Magic from Orlando. And that will be seen on MSG2. We suggest you check your local listings or call your cable operator for channel designation. That's Tuesday night, the Knicks and Orlando. Mark Jackson and Patrick Ewing sit down. The Knicks now have McDaniel with Oakley and Mason up front. Anthony and Starks in the backcourt. Knicks with a 12-2 run, lead by 7. Bagley hits, and he gets the call on the continuation. Anthony called for the foul, and Bagley will go to the line seeking a three-point play.
Well, you don't have to have blistering speed in the NBA to be a good backcourt man, as John Bagley demonstrates. No comparison between his speed and that of Greg Anthony, but Bagley's deceptive move paid off. Here's a guy, Marv, we're going to be feeling sorry for in another month or so. When Sherman Douglas gets into flow, when D. Brown comes back, that may be the end of John Bagley. We may shed a tear in his direction.
We will be feeling sorry. John is a very nice guy, as you know, and you're being very lighthearted about.
No, I'm not. I already feel bad for him. He's out here performing. He's a terrific player, nice guy, and the Celtics, are probably going to go with those other two guys.
Are you now getting involved emotionally with certain players?
Yes, absolutely. It's a tough life out there, John. He's performing such an important role for this team in the first half of the season and doing a good job.
Close to the family.
He's going to be bye-bye. I feel bad.
And here's Lewis. And the Knicks now lead 39-37. A color commentator with compassion. This is a new twist here.
I'll go one further. I hope I'm wrong.
All right, here's Starks. Correction on the score. Oakley had it knocked away last touch by Boston. Apparently the scoreboard was wrong. The correct score is 39-36 Knicks. You're looking at Tony Massenberg, a new addition to the Celtic squad with San Antonio last year. Had a brief stint with Charlotte, was waived, and was signed as a free agent by the Celtics. Second year of the NBA out of Maryland. He was a second-round pick of the Spurs. He can leap. Good all-around athlete. Offense, the question mark. Most of his points come from in close off the offensive boards.
Sure, Pat Riley's taking note of his team having a 7-point lead when Ewing and Jackson went out. It's shrinking.
And it has shrunk to 1. So Gamble with his third bucket. He has 6. Knicks 39, the Celtics 38. 8.5 to go in the first half.
Well, the fast breaks go away when the other team is hitting, and that's what the Celtics are doing. The Knicks have stopped running.
Starks for 3. Bagley off the hesitation dribble. John Bagley with another nice move. He has 8, and Boston has recaptured the lead.
Knicks are not playing physically at all on this court here in the first half. The Celtics are getting their shots up very comfortably.
The Celtics able to answer that 12-2 Knick run by reeling off 8 consecutive points, and they now lead by 1.
John Bagley is getting things his way. Playing a terrific.
And JD and I will look at first period highlights. Turcotte in the corner. Turcotte, Nemchinov, and Kerr with Leach and Patrick. Leach with a puck. Patrick in the slot off the stick of Turcotte. Nemchinov. Checked there by Finn. Less than a minute to go in the first period. Turcotte looking. Kerr set up low in the slot. Nemchinov try to get it to Kerr with
annual awards, and by golly, you can put that one on the mantle.
Thank you, John. Mickey. Thank you, John. I appreciate it because I know there is a degree of seriousness in your congratulations. Illegal defense called for the first time against the Boston Celtics. But thank you. As you know, it's the guys around you.
Poor Chick Hearn.
The offensive lineman. Oh, there's more confession here now.
Chick won it last year, I know. The L.A. Lakers, yes, well-known announcer. But you did it this year, and goodness knows you worked hard enough, Marv.
Wilkins, who just checked back in, had it knocked away. And Bagley has a 3-on-2. Now the Knicks able to get back, but Fox had the opportunity. Massenberg off the ball. Tony Massenberg with the bucket. Only his second game as a member of the Celtics and his first Boston Celtics field goal. Celtics by 3. Anthony able to keep it alive. McDaniel had the opening and then drew the double team. Good hands by Fox. Bagley able to get to it. Lewis. Ricky Lewis unconscious. 7 for 7 from the field. 6 for 6 from the line. Bagley with the steal. Lewis has 20.
Sloppy lead pass in.
And here's Fox giving Boston a 46-39 lead. And the Knicks take a timeout.
Ewing and Jackson went out. It was 39-32 in favor of the Knicks. Fire now. You'd think that they would be rolling over, but they are not. Greg Anthony on an inbounds after a Celtics basket. A little sloppy. John Bagley right on the case. Doesn't look to do it himself. Waits for his teammates. Rick Fox coming in and finishing the play. That basket gave the Celtics 14 straight points in the last 3 minutes.
And we will now witness the Boston Celtic debut of Sherman Douglas in his third year. Out of Syracuse, he's wearing number 20. Obtained last night of a deal for Brian Shaw. Ewing, who just returned, through the foul. So Patrick Ewing is back along with Mark Jackson. Massenberg called for the foul. There's Sherman Douglas. You know, when clubs were interested in Douglas prior to his signing with Miami, and he recently signed a multi-year contract which ended a holdout with Miami as they matched the offer made by the Los Angeles Lakers. Several clubs, the Clippers in particular, when they were talking trade, pointed out the fact that they like Douglas because he throws the alley-oop pass so well, and that's a skill that very few have. Mark Jackson does it effectively, and the Clippers liked him for that. I don't know if that's a skill that we'll see that frequently because of the makeup of the Celtic front line. Here's Lewis. Finally missed the shot. Massenberg rejected by Ewing. And it will be Boston ball.
I don't think the ability to throw an alley-oop pass, though, Marv, goes into the judgment of a guard other than a passing thought. Doesn't happen that much. Also, they're very dangerous, as we see Ewing, who usually gets the alley-oop passes. They're very dangerous for big people to catch when they come down.
Well, I just think it's one factor in the mix that you very rarely hear, that a club would like somebody for that skill. Here's Lewis. It counts, and the foul.
If you're going to foul Reggie Lewis in the act of shooting, foul him hard. Reggie Lewis continues to succeed against the Knicks right around Anthony Mason. I don't know where the foul came from, but he is having a party, and he's not a big burly guy. He can be shaken up a bit, and the Knicks are playing him very softly.
Mason called for the foul, and the Celtics lead it by 8. 5.5 remaining in this first half. Wilkins, Boston now with a 49-43 lead. So the 14-0 run turning things here in the second quarter. A Celtic club without Larry Bird, without Robert Parrish, without D. Brown. Kevin McHale is here but has not played. That's Sherman Douglas with his first Celtic bucket.
Well, I wonder what play that was. Everyone's concerned when a new player comes to a team he doesn't know the plays. Well, Sherman Douglas just had an open middle, and he played with it nicely.
The basket will count. Mark Jackson gets credit. Massenberg called for the goaltend, and the Knicks now trail by 6 points.
Well, that was a dynamite move also by Douglas. What a little deception he gave in the middle of that move.
Crowd chanting defense. Fox off the pick. Celtics getting good shots here in the second quarter. Boston by 8 with 4.5 remaining. First half. Ewing again. And Oakley able to chase it down. Wilkins for 3. Jackson able to get to it.
Knicks offense is crying out for crisp passing.
Here's Jackson. Mason. Well, the Knicks certainly have their opportunities. Celtics continue to double up on Ewing, and he's been snapping it out, but the Knicks not able to hit their shots.
Take a look at Sherman Douglas's first basket wearing the green. Fakes around, and then fakes that pass off, and that made everybody stop for a split second and opened up the hole even further for him. Special talents of Sherman Douglas.
Chris Ford doing some shuffling. That last foul sending Anthony Mason to the line, committed by Reggie Lewis. 3 on Lewis. Ed Pinckney has returned along with Joe Klein. And now Lewis will sit down. John Bagley is back. Lewis with 23 points, 8 out of 9 from the field, and 7 for 7 from the line. And the Celtics now lead 53-47.
Well, Kevin McHale's ready to play, it seems. He's in uniform, but this certainly makes Chris Ford rather confident to lay back and be conservative with the use of him the way this team is playing. This is a remarkable first-half performance by a team that has Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish, although they're not here except for McHale, ready to go, but essentially 3 injured players, 3 Hall of Famers, and look at how well this team is going.
Offensive foul called on Douglas to get the ball back to the Knicks. Nice head fake. Basket won't count. Bagley called for the hold. Rick Fox hustling back to the scorer's table. He'll be waved on. And Sherman Douglas will sit down. And here's the applause from the New York crowd. That's the Syracuse portion of the crowd.
Minus play-by-play announcer for this game.
Very objective observer. Yeah. I have compassion like you do, but not quite the same. And Jackson was rocked by Fox. That is team foul number 4 committed by Boston. The Knicks come in at 20-11, a half game in front of Boston. They have lost 2 in a row, 4 of the last 7. And they have dropped 3 of the last 5 here at the Garden. And struggling in the first half against this injury-hit Celtic team.
Also, Marv, when you look at it, Mason and Oakley are such offensively that basically the Knicks are playing with 3 men on offense.
Gamble. Oakley got a piece of it. Mason out of the pass.
And Oakley not scoring in 2 games.
Wilkins with an air ball from downtown. And it will be Celtic possession.
And Mason, essentially a rebounder, not a shooter, makes it very difficult for Ewing.
Celtics lead 53-47. Klein again wide open. And a foul is called. Let's see. Fox was down. Apparently he was called for the foul. So that's 3 on the rookie out of North Carolina.
How about the effort of Rick Fox? He had 4 white shirts around him, 4 Knicks, and Fox competed, almost wrestled that ball away.
Rick Fox last year led North Carolina in scoring and steals, MVP of the ACC tournament as a senior. Patrick Ewing has had his difficulties. Charles Oakley sitting down, and he has come up with a goose egg here in the first half.
0 points for Charles, and he's 0 for 1 tonight, along with those 56 prior minutes in the last 2 games combined.
Patrick Ewing only 2 for 9 from the field, and 2 out of 4 from the foul line for 6 points, and he is not going up against Robert Parrish, who usually does give him trouble. Campbell extends to a 55-47 Celtic lead as we come up on 2 minutes remaining in the half.
Well, Pat Riley will have an awful lot to talk about, and it's not going to be casual conversation.
McDaniel, Xavier McDaniel has 13 points. He and Mark Jackson are the high man for the Knicks. Knicks are down by 6. Pinckney, and the rebound swept by Wilkins.
Basically, there's not enough good of anything for the Knicks. Not enough rebounding, not enough passing, and not enough good shooting, not enough good defense. That's a rather broad subject for halftime.
Jackson. And Boston with a 3-on-1. Fox. The play by Fox, protecting the ball with his body, and he's given the Celtics a 57-49 lead. Ewing set the pick. McDaniel, yes. Celtics 57, and the Knicks 51. Xavier McDaniel with 15 points. The Celtic high man is Reggie Lewis. He has 23, a sensational shooting first quarter for Lewis. Klein, Well, he has been standing along that left baseline all night and has been wide open.
I think he's proven that a hand in the face might help the Knicks defense. He's not getting it, though.
8 points for Klein. Celtics by 8. McDaniel answers. So Xavier McDaniel with that bucket has now hit the 10,000 career point mark. The X-Man with 17 tonight. Half-minute to go in this first half. Boston by 6. Bagley forced it. And the Knicks will hold for 1. Down to 10 seconds. Down to 5. Mason. The Knicks are having their difficulties against this Boston club that has been hammered by injury. The Celtics 59 and the Knicks 53 coming up at halftime. Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk, then Al and Clyde with a look back at the first half.
What do you get in Midas's $89 or $99 basic brake service? Great value and a job done right. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Bad news. Neek's got new shoes. He's got custom fit and support on top. Flip a switch. He's got it below, too.
It's the new Reebok double pump. Now get back up there.
The double pump. Pretty scary, huh?
Hey, get back here, man.
Morning. 365 chances every year to start doing something healthy. To keep yourself in balance.
As long as your last soldier is still standing, 59-53 at the half. The Boston Celtics hustling their way to the 6-point lead. The Knicks led at 1 point, 39-32. Celtics reel off 14 straight. The scoring stars Reggie Lewis and Xavier McDaniel, who sent himself to 10,000 career points in the first half. Let's go to Bob Page at the sports desk. We'll be back in a moment.
Thank you, Al. Good evening again, everybody. Two teams playing very well, hooked up in the battle in suburban Detroit tonight. The Pistons lead. Yes, the Nets are playing well these days, 51-47 at halftime. To the second quarter, off Mark Aguirre's miss, the Nets will come out running. Tate George, out of UConn, makes a nifty pass to Chris Morris. 37-28, the Nets were leading. No, Bill Fitch couldn't believe what he saw on the scoreboard either. The Nets were on a 17-4 run, though, capped off by this, Morris's jumper to make it 43-30. Chuck Daly saw his Pistons come back. It's Kenny Anderson, ball taken away. Mark Aguirre goes in, throws it down for 2 as the Pistons have climbed back to that 4-point halftime lead. Highly touted 7-footer Luther Wright still has not scored a point in a Big East game for Seton Hall, and the Hall has still won only one game in their history at the Cap Center in Landover after today's 73-65 loss to Georgetown. A nail-biter for John Thompson until with 3 minutes to go and the game tied at 60 when Georgetown reeled off 8 straight points. This effort by Alonzo Mourning, part of that run. He had 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 blocks. The Hoyas 9-2, 2-1 in the Big East. PJ and company are now 9-3 overall and 2-2 in the conference. All the other Big East action, including St. John's, BC, is tonight. Some local finals from this afternoon. Manhattan won by 20 over Bradley. Fordham in big trouble of late, rebounded with a 24-point home win over Colgate. Army's latest loss came at the hands of Lehigh. Ryder blew out Central Connecticut. LIU Brooklyn won at Mount St. Mary's, and St. Francis of New York defeated Brooklyn College. At the Garden this afternoon, Notre Dame shocked 8th-ranked North Carolina 88-76. Former Knicks coach John McLeod back with the Fighting Irish. It is his first college job since 1973 when he left Oklahoma. I asked John after today's game about the differences between coaching in the collegiate ranks and the NBA.
game pace is slower, not in the sense that the pace of the game is slower. It is to a degree, except we've only played 9 games. If I were a pro coach, it would be, counting exhibition or preseason games, it would be maybe 40 or 41. So we practice more and play less, but I'm enjoying it. Notre Dame is a great place. We're building our program. We're starting out, and we have a long way to go, but we want to get to a level that where Carolina is, and St. John's, and Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Duke, and all these other people. So that's the target.
Tonight, UCLA, a 2-point victory at Arizona, ending the Wildcats' 71-game home win streak. Now this.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, and with Alamo, all those miles are free.
Around here, a new house may have been built in 1750. And just off Route 140, near Grafton, Massachusetts, you'll see land that's been in the family for 7 generations. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, all across America. And every day, with every car nationwide, only Alamo gives you all those miles for free, including 22 miles of road in a place they've been calling New England for more than 300 years.
Another Home Depot certified advantage, free design service. Home Depot has a brand new design center where professionals give you decorating advice, from coordinating colors to selecting products. And everything we sell is at the guaranteed low price. Like Dutch Boy paint, we have a huge selection to choose from, and we'll use our computer to custom match virtually any sample you bring us absolutely free. Home Depot. Low prices are just the beginning.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Dutch Boy, the official paint sponsor of the NBA.
Hockey, Rangers lead the Nordiques 1-0 second period at Quebec tonight. The game being seen on our MSG2 service. Brett Hull has number 44. St. Louis leading the Islanders 3-0 in the second. Devils lead Toronto 2-1 in the second. Back to the Knicks in a moment.
How do I know where to get my brakes done right?
Come to Midas. There's a lot of value in our $89 or $99 basic brake service. And you get something else. Peace of mind. Knowing you get a thorough inspection by Midas-trained experts and a written estimate up front. Knowing every brake shoe and pad is guaranteed for as long as you own your car. And knowing the job will be done right. That's why more people come to us for brakes, knowing that nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Imagine being born with the ability to meet any challenge expertly. That's the wonder of the new Maxim XI from Minolta. With the experience of professionals programmed right in, it responds to any change of speed, or light, or distance automatically for ultimate performance. The new Maxim XI, born experienced. Only from the mind of Minolta.
Jackson.
Well, bird, but bird's the word. Well, bird, but bird's the word. Well, don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that Pudgy's the word. Bird, but bird's the word. Well, a bird. Well, bird.
The Pudgy's dozen, 13 pieces, only $9.99. Great value at participating stores.
Well, don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that Pudgy's the word. Bird, but bird's the word. Well, a bird.
Remember the good old days of first-class service?
Do you remember the good old days when things seemed better?
For the past 61 years, the people at Hempstead Lincoln Mercury, New York State's #1 Lincoln Mercury dealer, have always remembered what a lot of people have long forgotten. First-class service.
Battered Boston leads the Knicks 59-53. As we welcome you back to courtside, the leading scorer summary is brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers, Advantage Jeep and Eagle. How about Reggie Lewis? He goes 8 of 9, hits all 7 free throws, and has 23 points at the half. After that, it's Kevin Gamble and Joe Klein with 8 apiece. John Bagley and Rick Fox after that. Meanwhile, Xavier McDaniel having another fine Saturday night. 17 points brings him to 10,000 career. Mark Jackson, 13 points. Also 3 rebounds. John Starks with a little help off the bench, 8. Gerald Wilkins, 7. Patrick Ewing really having a tough time again in the Boston Celtics middle with only 6. Joining me is Walt Clyde Frazier. And Clyde, I look at this Knick offense. It is really sluggish. There doesn't seem to be any spirit and very little life.
Yeah, other than the X-Man, they're not moving and grooving. They lack continuity, and when Patrick Ewing is not scoring, they lack a focus as well, and right now they're very incompetent on the offense.
All right, we'll take you through some of the highlights of the first half. As always, these highlights are brought to you by Minolta, creators of the world's most responsive SLR cameras, the new Maxim XI series. Can't say enough about Reggie Lewis, who hit the Knicks for 33 on Wednesday and now 23 at the half.
And this time exploiting the mismatch against Anthony as he swirls and curls. Uncanny shooting by Reggie Lewis.
We'll get another taste of Reggie Lewis.
Yeah, this time Reggie's 6'7", 195 pounds, a sweet shooter, but this time going deep into his repertoire with a jump hook shot along the baseline.
There is room for improvement. He did miss 1 out of the 9 shots. Let's go to Patrick Ewing, who is trying his best to break free of the Joe Klein stranglehold.
Yeah, off to an auspicious start, this time missing, but undaunted with the rebound. A defiant Patrick Ewing putting it in.
Ewing only 2 of 9 from the floor. John Starks continues to have shooting woes. He's 3 of 7, but did provide a little bit of a spark off the bench.
Oh, yeah, this time a nice rebound. He has improved his ball handling, folks. This time Starks wheeling, dealing, the X-Man thrilling with the crowd-pleasing stuff.
Well, you know, the Knicks find themselves in the awful position of looking at the Boston roster thinking that they've got to win with all the guys who are out, and now they're down.
Yeah, it would be another excruciating, humiliating loss if they don't. But Patrick Ewing is always the focal point. He has to get his act together.
All right, Knicks had the lead at 39-32, but it is the Celtics in front as we head to the second half. Marv Albert and John Andres are settling in their seats, and we'll bring you back to them in a moment.
Century Billiards, the largest pool table showroom in the metropolitan area with pool tables for everyone's budget. Choose from a large selection of traditional, modern, contemporary, and custom-built tables. Visit our on-premises factory and see custom-designed tables built and antiques being carefully restored. Century Billiards features complete game room equipment and accessories with a large selection of professional pool cues. Visit our showroom and consult our professional staff. Remember, for 5 generations, we have been striving to set the standard of excellence.
It's exclusive.
But it's not expensive.
It's chic.
And it's oh so marvelous.
It's exciting.
And casual, too.
It's top name brand men's and ladies' fashions.
At Effie's famous affordable prices.
With great selection, personal service, Effie's men's and Effie's ladies.
Why wait for a sale when it's always a sale at Effie's?
Teamwork is what it's all about. Whether it's under your car, inside your engine, or around a wheel, Goodyear Teamwork wins. The Goodyear team promises to provide every customer with the finest quality tires in the world. Offers the best selection, the lowest prices, the largest variety of sizes and types of tires, and backs it in writing with Goodyear's island-wide warranty. Nobody beats the Goodyear team promise on good tires, service, and people. The Goodyear team works a little harder for you. That's the Long Island Goodyear team promise.
The Knicks leading by 6 at the half. Making his Garden debut tonight in row 3, right across from the Knick bench, is Mark Action Jackson II. In the warm and cozied hands of Mom Desiree, the formula in the bottle, the formula on the floor for winning the Knicks hope. Let's go to Marv Albin and John Andres.
Very nicely put out. Well, the shooting in the first half, the Celtics 56%, led by Reggie Lewis, who hit 8 of 9, and the Knicks to 44% after the good start, but they finished 21 for 48 for the half. And in the rebounding department, the Knicks with the edge, but it has not mattered as they are trailing by 6.
Well, the rebounding is really offensive rebounding, where they got 13 of their 27, but they shot so poorly it kind of didn't add up to anything.
And in the turnover department. Both clubs have kept the number down. Knicks with only 5, and Boston with only 2 turnovers in the first half.
13 points off 5 turnovers. Well, our Dutch boy in the paint information shows the Knicks with 13 offensive rebounds, but they only turn that into 8 second chance points. The Celtics doing a very big job, though, keeping Patrick Ewing quiet in the first half, and that is as much a story as anything, with Joe Klein doing a very big job. In 19 minutes of play, Joe Klein got himself 8 points, 3 rebounds. Amazingly, Patrick Ewing 6 points and 5 rebounds in 20 minutes of play.
It has been a silent first half for Ewing. Boston opening with Bagley and Lewis at the guard, Pinckney with Klein, and Gamble on the front line. And the foul is called on Jackson. That is his second.
Prescription now for Pat Riley's Knicks is to play like the Celtics did in the fourth quarter the other night. Marv, I liken that to the feeling of if you're going to win this game, you're going to have to kill us. I think that's what the Celtics presented to the Knicks the other night as far as intensity level in the fourth quarter.
Lewis rejected. Bagley for 3. The Knicks opening up this third quarter with a backcourt of Jackson and Wilkins, McDaniel, Oakley, and Ewing up front. Celtics lead by 6. They've led by as many as 8. At one point, the Knicks led by 7. Ewing, yes. And it's now Boston 59 and the Knicks 55. Bagley off the stutter step, goes to the spin. Jackson challenging Klein. It counts.
That's a remarkable shot. That had all the makings of a bad shot, a bad decision when Mark challenged the 7-foot Klein. And he turned it into his advantage with an incredible shot. Mark using the backboard beautifully. Klein tried not to foul him, but of course failed at that. Mark, nice, never missing a chance to get his feelings across.
There's a nice pose for Mark A. Jackson II to ponder. 3-point play for Jackson to bring the Knicks within 1, and the Knicks go to some light pressure. Working hard for the shot. Wilkins going at Gamble and gave it up. McDaniel, yes. So the Knicks lead it by 1. And Xavier McDaniel once again shining on a Saturday. He has 19.
Well, it was Xavier McDaniel that led the demolishment by the Knicks of the Celtics here at the Garden in their earlier meeting. Kevin Gamble on a nice jump shot. Xavier 37, 16 out of 20 in that one.
Wilkins wide open. Gerald Wilkins 3 for 8 from the field. Gamble. Boston leads it 63-60.
Outstanding shooters like Gamble and Reggie Lewis can never take a shot without a hand in their face.
Kevin Gamble now 6 for 7 from the field. Here is McDaniel. And Ewing with the save. Did not work out the way he wanted. 2.5 gone by in the third quarter. A meeting of the division leaders in the Atlantic. Knicks half game in front of Boston. Celtics coming off the loss at home to Minnesota. Knicks coming off the loss to the Celtics in Boston on Wednesday. Blowing a 15-point lead in Boston. An embarrassing loss for the Knicks. That was preceded by the poor outing against Atlanta here at the Garden on Tuesday night. Oakley with a rare shot opportunity. And he drew the foul.
Got to shoot. I mean, you cannot be out there on the floor and not look to take a shot. Charles isn't looking at all until this moment. And you're a detriment to the offense if you don't present yourself as a threat.
Foul committed by Gamble. Been a long time between points for Charles Oakley. 26 minutes, 0 for 1 from the field against the Celtics on Wednesday, and his next point will be his first this evening.
Didn't go to the line either in those two games, the Celtic game and then prior game, as you mentioned, against the Atlanta Hawks.
So Charles has registered with the scorekeeper, and the Celtics now lead 63-61. Bagley with some one-on-one movement.
It's unusual to see Bagley do this. I haven't seen this in the 3 prior games. But, you know, in some ways, this team needs that kind of play because they are so worn down.
Bagley has 10 points. Ewing with the 10. And the Celtics lead 65-63. Bagley greeted by pressure. Lewis. Foul by McDaniel. That's his second. And Reggie Lewis, who is 7 for 7 from the line, will shoot a couple. He's an 83% free throw shooter. Reggie in his 5th season out of Northeastern. Last year averaged just under 19. He's become a go-to player for the Celtics, and last season a good one for Reggie despite a nagging sore back which has bothered him again this year, and he's averaging just under 20 per game this season. Celtics lead by 4. Foul picked up by Klein. That is his 3rd.
Well, he is continuing to play Ewing physically, and that has benefited him and the Celtics most of the way.
Jackson and Klein with the rebound. Gamble. Now, this is not his game. He's hitting the outside shot. He's been one of the more proficient field goal percentage men in the NBA the last couple of years, but usually does it off the break, does it in close, but he's hitting jumpers from all angles. Pat Riley calls for time. The Knicks are down by 6.
Brady watched that whole thing after he dropped the puck to start the play, and Twist got caught. Twist last shift was the play where Broughton knocked him down.
A lot has happened in the last 44 seconds. Smale at 10:28 scored his 9th from foot and sacking. Then at 11:05 it was Amonte with his 17th from Messier and Leach. And then at 11:12 Twist for slashing. 3rd power play for the Rangers. They're 0 for 2.
Just a neutral zone face-off, and Nemchinov played the wing for the draw, and Tim Kerr took the face-off.
Turcotte, Nemchinov, and Kerr for the Rangers. Sundin against Leach, shot it wide. Nemchinov back for it. Sundin on him. Leach, Pat.
Scottie Pippen, about to discover the power of his Nike Air Flight shoes by way of a time warp. The laws of ordinary basketball are rewritten in the higher court of the flight dimension.
Son, you could make hundreds of dollars a year in professional basketball.
Remember, when you're having good times with friends, use good sense and drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. We are looking at the Memphis State Pom-Pom Girls, internationally known dance team of Memphis State. They are frequently at the NBA All-Star Game performing, and at many big games around the NBA, not to mention the Memphis State games, and they are dynamite.
Celtics with a 69-63 lead. 5 minutes gone by in the third. Nice move by Ewing. Well, Patrick Ewing showing some signs. He now has 12 points, and the Knicks trail by 4. Boston remaining the same following the timeout. Lewis, McDaniel got a piece of it. Good save by Oakley. Jackson. McDaniel. And the Celtics now lead by 2. Another excellent Saturday night performance by the X-Man. It will be Boston ball.
He's working very hard on defense as well with the tough Reggie Lewis.
Xavier McDaniel has hit 10 of 17. He has 21 points. Shot clock is at 5. Foul called on Wilkins. Basket won't count. 3.
Teams at full strength. Tony Twist comes out of the penalty box just in time to hit Mark Messier. Foot has the puck. 6:40 to go in the second. Rangers leading 4-1. And the puck deflects up into the crowd. Play stops. We'll step out for a moment.
Shooting performance he had. Career high is now 34.
And Wilkins sitting down. John Starks played only 11 minutes in the first half at 3 of 7 for 8 points. Has come on. Starks now matched with Gamble. Starks with the steal for Jackson. The Knicks and the Celtics are tied at 69.
Well, Mark Jackson's not the only member of the Knicks team who can throw a beauty behind the back. John Starks did it as well.
Jackson has 18 points. Gamble. All going in for Kevin Gamble. And a delay of game called on the Celtics.
I think you're going to have to rethink your feeling for Gamble's offensive game.
No,
you're saying he's an inside the foul line player.
What you mean to say, John, is I've been saying that he does not have the outside touch. John, you see him 3 times a year. He happens to have good games, and now you are saying that he has this great outside touch. He normally does not shoot well from the outside.
You see all of their games? I know you see more than I do.
A good portion. Talk to people.
So comfortable. His shot release and percentage is one of the league's best.
Comfort has a lot to do with it. Here Starks. And the game is tied at 71. Decent touch from the outside, but
he's got a beautiful form. He looks very comfortable shooting jump shots.
What does form mean?
It means a lot. It means an awful lot to a jump shooter.
A lot of guys that form and are not in the league, like yourself. All right, here's Bagley. Just under 5 minutes to go in the third. Nice pass, and Oakley able to convert. The Knicks now lead 73-71. And Boston falls for tie.
Shot. Stick save, Van Beesbrook. Puck behind the net. Fortier ran into his own man, and the Rangers take the puck away. King lost it. Fortier into the corner goes Kip Miller against Bukaboom. Back for Paslowski. The shot blocked. Tatarnov shoots, deflects into the corner. Bukaboom one-hands it out of the zone. King going for it. Tatarnov is there. They bump. King takes the puck away. King looking, shooting wide. Around the boards to Turcotte. All alone is Broughton in front. A save by Tugnut. And Sakic has the puck. Sakic on the move.
Boy, Chris King is hot at Tataranoff. Tataranoff caught him with an elbow right in the kisser.
Shot by Sakic, knocked away by Van Beesbrook. 5:25 to go in the second. 4-1, Turcotte against Owen Nolan. Turcotte lifts it clear. Finn going back for it. Gartner all over him. Gartner uses his speed. Finn takes him down.
San Antonio, when the Knicks were there earlier this season, he was preparing a feature on David Robinson and Roy Scheider also taking in the action. Looks like Ed got the better seat, I would have to say.
Well, Ed's legitimate. I mean, he's been with the Knicks through thick and thin.
Roy up on the Blues, I think. Here's Lewis. And the game is tied at 73 with 4:20 remaining in the third quarter. Ed Bradley, in his early days in radio at WCBS in New York, covered the Knicks. Ewing missing on the stuff. Sherman Douglas, who played briefly in the first half, is back on the floor. That was a forced shot.
He was so well played by Xavier.
McDaniel and Oakley with the steal. The Knicks and the Celtics are tied at 73. Ewing, yes. Knicks take a 2-point lead. 14 for Patrick Ewing. He has not shot well, though.
That was a beautiful move with the shorter man on him. He didn't try and do too much. Just turned around and popped it up.
Sherman Douglas making his Celtic debut, acquired last night on the deal for Brian Shaw. Campbell, I've been saying now, the guy is just an amazing shooter. I would say only Jerry West, from the people I have seen, would surpass him in form, accuracy.
You know, I bet the Ace Award judging people acknowledge qualities like this in you, Mark, to give you that award you earned. Flexibility.
Loose ball foul. It's on Ewing. That is his second. Here's Tony Massenberg.
And Gusarov with a nifty move. Gusarov with a nifty move. And there's Sakic with a shot, and Van Beesbrook read it nicely. Good save. Gusarov, no, Gusarov.
Second syllable.
Second syllable. Tataranoff, Gusarov.
And Chino. Okay. Hey, you got to get used to it, Val. They keep coming over.
Yeah,
some good players coming. Kamensky, he'll be here. They hope to have him by the end of February or sometime early in March.
On him, you see him one time. McDaniel. And the game is tied at 77. Are you going to tell me Tony Massenberg now has a terrific outside touch?
I will.
Hits 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, I might give him that room if he hits a few more.
Oh, nice pass, and Massenberg is fouled.
That was Sherman Douglas on the delivery. Sherman Douglas, see, Jackson didn't have the hands up. It sure made it easy for Douglas to get that pass through.
Foul called on Oakley. Rick Fox getting set. Check in. Massenberg, a recent addition to the squad after he was dropped by Charlotte. Here's Fox. Massenberg only his second game as a Boston Celtic. And the Celtics lead by 1. Ewing. Gamble with the save. Crowd reacting, thought should have been a travel call. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the third. Here's Douglas. Oh! Sherman Douglas with a stumbling floater to give Boston a 3-point lead. Ewing. Yes. And the Celtics now lead 80-79. And Jackson hanging back with Douglas. to snatch it for his 9th rebound. Starks. And Fox got the worst of that exchange after the foul was called. Anthony Mason returns. Rick Fox picking up his 4th, and Starks to the foul line.
John Starks, the beneficiary of motion when the Knicks are running, but tonight the Celtics have been scoring more points off the fast break. Knicks showing a lot more intensity here, however, in the 3rd quarter than they did in the 1st half.
It's the Knicks 81 and the Celtics 80 with 1 minute remaining in the 3rd. There's Gamble. Kevin Gamble is 10 for 11. He has 20 points, and the Celtics lead it 82-81. Starks from downtown. Down to a half minute remaining in the 3rd. And the call is last touch by Douglas. So the Knicks maintain possession, 15 on the 24.
Gamble shot against the Knicks last year.
Jackson. And the Knicks now lead by 1.
69%, Marv. I just happened to look that one up. I know that was the wrong time to bring it up as Jackson shot that so well.
All right, down to 10 seconds to go in the 3rd. Douglas. Fox. And he was fouled. With 1 and 8/10 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, John Starks called for his 4th. Check that. That's 3 on Starks.
Rick Fox has such an active body at 6'7". He's so flexible in his game. He can get down low and play guards, or he can hit the boards as he just did with the taller people in the offensive rebounding department. This has been an impressive performance by Sherman Douglas in his Celtics debut.
All right, 1 and 8/10 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Mason picked off by Klein. So that's the end of the 3rd. It's the Celtics 84, the Knicks 83.
Go pass down to Sundin, backhands it across to Sakic. Sakic.
The matchup shows us some interesting numbers. At the end of 3 quarters, the Knicks coming out with a much better effort here in the 3rd quarter that just concluded. Patrick Ewing working down low, getting things his way a little better in the 3rd quarter, getting the touch on Joe Klein.
And Patrick Ewing, 7 for 16 for his 16 points. Klein has taken only 7 shots. He's hit 3, couple from the line. He has 8. Ewing with the edge off the boards. Klein sitting down, so he'll get a rest. Ed Pinckney is back. 4th quarter is underway. It's Ewing over Pinckney, rebounded by Fox. The Knicks at 13 for 22 from the field, and the 3rd, the Celtics at 50%. Boston has a 1-point lead. Lewis to the reverse. He has 29 points.
A lot of people in the stands are probably saying this is gut check time for the Knicks. In the last game, they had an 8-point lead entering the 4th quarter. The prior game in Boston, it was 5.
Starks. John Starks continues to struggle. Here's Fox. And he was blocked. It has been an inspired effort by this Boston Celtic club, playing without Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, and Dee Brown.
Reggie Lewis continuing his deceptive ways as he finds his way to the basket time after time.
Fox was fouled by Mason. Celtics 87 and the Knicks 83. McDaniel. And Mason now double figures in rebounds. That was number 10.
Lewis was played well on that shot attempt.
Massenberg fronting Mason. Mason to the fadeaway.
Fox doing an amazing job getting good inside position on the Knicks.
And the Knicks on the run. McDaniel. Yes. Celtics 87. Knicks 85. Xavier McDaniel with 25. He's the high point man for New York. Douglas whipping it from Massenberg. And he stepped out.
An example, however, of the kind of passes that Sherman Douglas can deliver. Boy, if you're near him, anywhere near him, you better be ready to receive it if you're a teammate of Sherman's.
Crowd booing the substitution. Pat Riley wants to give Xavier McDaniel a rest, and he comes back with Gerald Wilkins, who has shot only 3 for 9.
That's a rare response by the fans to that change, but you know, as you say, it will be a brief rest for Xavier.
Knicks trailing by 2. They're going with the 3-guard alignment. Starks. Ewing on the recovery. Shot clock at 4. Wilkins for 3. Oh, he's been way off. And again, Gerald hears it from the crowd. That's his second 3-point air ball. And that is a backcourt violation. Here looking for the Celtics and the Knicks. You look at the guys in the green and the white, and you do not recognize the Boston Celtics, who show Sherman Douglas and Tony Massenberg, and filling out the roster, Pinckney and Bagley and Lewis.
The only one we're missing is Ricky Green, who made a brief appearance in the NBA's, in the prior game, the NBA's second oldest player.
Knicks with the ball down by 2 with 3 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter. Here's Jackson. Strong move by Mark Jackson, and he's tied it at 87. Celtics take a timeout with 8 minutes, 44 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter.
Hey, sports fans, get a ticket to Bud Bowl 4, and you could win $1 million cash. $1 million!
Now Bagley working on Jackson. Wilkins guarding Lewis. Nice spin by Lewis. Ewing over to help. And Lewis recovers. And the Celtics have a new 24. Klein, Pinckney, and Fox up front. Bagley and Lewis at the guard position.
Well, speaking about BC, that's what John Bagley's play reminds me of when he was a member of the BC offense, dominating the ball.
And Reggie Lewis buys a 2-point lead for the Celtics. 31 points for Lewis. Xavier McDaniel getting set to check back in. Foul on the Knicks.
Could be Mason, Marv, underneath, muscling Ed Pinckney.
Yes, it is. Anthony Mason. 3 on Mason. McDaniel is back, replacing Wilkins. Capacity crowd here at the Guard, 19,763. Bagley, a pretty move, nice touch on the driving hook, and the Celtics now lead at 91-87. This is the 6th sellout of the season. Fox over-aggressive and collects his 5th.
The move by Bagley was something else. Ewing coming over, and it didn't discourage him. Take a look at Xavier banging hard on Rick Fox, who's playing him tough. That, of course, was a foul.
And Kevin Gamble will replace Rick Fox. Fox leads with 9 points. Downtown.
You see, Ewing was going to throw the ball to Mason, but Mason didn't want it, didn't have his hands up, didn't acknowledge that he could do something with it, and Ewing was forced to throw it elsewhere. And Mason had good position.
Celtics 91. The Knicks 87 with 6:40 remaining in the fourth. Ewing, yes. 18 for Ewing, and the Knicks trail by 2. The Celtics with a very strong effort. Despite all the injuries, despite the new faces, Bagley, and Klein is rejected. Despite all the Boston adversity, they have a 2-point lead as we head down the stretch. Nathaniel has tied it at 91.
What a difference in performance by Xavier tonight versus the prior game Wednesday night in Boston. He wants the ball this time.
Xavier McDaniel only 2 points. In the fourth quarter, he disappeared.
Boy, Pat Riley upset on that call.
That's 3 on McDaniel. Lewis to the free throw line. Boston, usually an excellent free throw shooting club.
Best in the NBA at 82%. Not a bad guess, Marv, huh? As a team, foul shooting percentage shows the Celtics right up there at the top, and the Knicks a long way away from where the Celtics are.
Reggie Lewis now has 33. His season high is 37. Boston leads by 2. Now Gamble guarding McDaniel. 5 on the 24. McDaniel. 29 for the X-Man, and he's tied it at 93.
It's Saturday night at the Garden, and the X-Man is here again.
Chris Ford calling for time.
Fine. Anthony Mason comes into the roll situation, but Mason doesn't really reach for that ball. Makes a faint-hearted gesture to put the hand up, but he had position, and Patrick fixed it outside instead.
The Knicks with 4 timeouts remaining, 4 full and 120. Boston with 2 and a 20.
The Knicks offense tonight consisting mainly of Xavier McDaniel's fine shooting touch.
Game tied at 93. 5 minutes remaining in the fourth. Bagley working on Anthony. The shot clock down to 5. There's Gamble to the fadeaway. Again! He's 11 for 12. He has 22 points. And it's Boston by 2. Starks going left and then is looking for Mason. McDaniel Klein with the box out. Now Lewis with the strong move to his right. And Pinckney gets to it.
It sure is a problem when you don't box out people. It makes it real easy for the aggressive offensive rebounders like Pinckney to hurt you.
Here's Klein.
That's got to hurt Chris Ford.
Well, folks, that was the basket of the night.
Mason, right, Anthony pushing that ball up. Starks beating the opposition with an incredible move. Oh, another great angle of Starks and what he faced in Joe Klein's presence. Starks on the floor loving it.
And he hit the foul shot, completing a three-point play. The foul committed by Klein, his fourth. The Knicks lead 96-95 with 3:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. And out the other end, Starks battling with Gamble, and Starks has picked up his fourth. The Knicks with 4 team fouls, Boston with only 2. It's been close throughout. Boston is led by as many as 8. Knicks at one point led by 7. Here's Gamble. Played well. Shot clock at 9. Bagley fires. Strong defensive sequence by the Knicks. We come up on 3 minutes remaining in the fourth. Knicks lead it by 1. 5 on the 24. Down to 3. Down to 1. And it's a 24-second violation.
Well, the Knicks gave Xavier the load of carrying the offense, basically, and he just feels when he gets his hands on the ball that he's got to finish the play. That's the danger of one-on-one basketball.
And a 20-second timeout called by the Celtics, so they're down to 2 timeouts remaining. Knicks have 4, and they're 20. This program is authorized by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated is prohibited. 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. And when we resume following this Boston timeout, it will be Celtic ball. The Knicks lead it 96-95.
The late tuners in see Kevin McHale in the Celtics huddle, but Kevin has not returned yet from his ankle injury that has been slow to heal. One of the problems with McHale's injury, Marv, is the Celtics operated on him in the fall instead of in the summer. McHale wanted to spend some time, quality time, with his family in the summer. That was allowed. They got to the operation too late, and his recovery has been hampered as a result.
Bagley going to the left hand, and out of the fadeaway.
Two bad moves, 2 forced shots by John Bagley.
And Bagley now 6 for 17 from the floor. Oakley, Ewing, McDaniel now up front. Jackson and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing. But on the back tap, Oakley with a good play, getting it to Jackson. Knicks by 1 as we come up on 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. Jackson. And Klein with the rebound.
The one-on-one situation for Reggie Lewis.
Foul called on McDaniel. That's 4 on McDaniel. Look at the foul rundown. Starks with 4. McDaniel has 4 for the Celtics. Klein with 4. Fox has 5.
Tough for an NBA player, always tough to judge how the officials will call a game. That was a contact between McDaniel and Lewis, but it was not very much contact, and it's so hard. Sometimes you're allowed to play with a lot of... Sometimes not.
Knicks with 14 fouls. Boston with only 2. Knicks with a 1-point lead. And a 35 remaining on the 4th. Bagley one-on-one. Ewing jumping out. Klein was open. Here's Lewis. McDaniel got a piece of it. Oakley on the rebound.
Excellent team defense by the Knicks, denying a good shot at the basket for the Celtics.
And a timeout called by the Knicks.
It makes the look of great skin yours. CoverGirl, redefining beauty.
Holding on to a 1-point lead right now. Chris Ford's team has done a tremendous job considering the adversity they're working under with the injury problem. Patrick Ewing's life has been made tough tonight by the physical play of Joe Klein once again. Klein not letting Ewing get away. Wherever Ewing is, Klein has a hand on him.
Pressure on the inbounds by Boston. That's the timeout rundown. Shot clock at 7. Starts for Jackson, wide open. This time he gets the roll.
X-Man was wide open on the right. Knicks were fortunate for Jackson to hit that.
Knicks lead 98-95, just under 1 minute remaining in the 4th. Here's Lewis. Lost it. Starks calling for the timeout. Let's see, did he get it? No. It's a jump ball.
Very quick reaction by Starks, calling the timeout, but I believe that the officials will judge that he didn't have possession at that moment. The offense for the Celtics is give Reggie Lewis the ball, and he dribbles into too many Knicks, loses control, and Starks is trying to get that key to the eyes of the official.
Nice try. Klein had his hand on the ball as he was calling for timeout. What a good effort by Starks jumping against Klein, and the Celtics control. 45 seconds to go in the 4th. Boston down by 3. Jackson with the steal, and a foul called on Bagley.
When you have those hands up, they can get things done, and Mark Jackson made it happen. What a big play.
Bagley was called for the foul, so the Knicks with a 3-point lead, down to 25 seconds to go on the 4th, 15 on the shot clock. Ewing not able to hit the shots down the stretch. Boston with 10 seconds, down by 3. Gamble in 3-point territory, follows. A rare miss for Kevin Gamble. And a foul call with 2/10 of a second remaining. Foul on Lewis. Well, Kevin Gamble had hit 11 of 12 from the floor, and he misses on the 3-point desperation attempt. Celtics could have taken a timeout, but did not. Instead, looked for the 3. There are 2 schools of thought there. Some people will say, well, you take the timeout to set up. Others will say, why break the pattern if you're moving down court? And
well, the logic would be that they would have to set up for a 3-point shot. It would give the Knicks time to prepare for the logical 3-point shooter. As it is, Gamble came within a hair of tying this game. I think they were wise in letting it play out. Actually, Actually, Marv, you see more and more of that today. Coaches are letting the teams work it out in situations where they judge there's more of an advantage to flexibility. We'll take another look at it. 9 seconds to go. The Celtics pushing the ball down. They want the main man, the long-range shooter, Gamble, to get that shot up, and he did, and almost made it.
And the clock has been adjusted. 0.8 of a second remaining. I don't know if Gamble was the guy they really wanted to shoot the ball. He's 0 for 2 from downtown, but that was a desperation situation. Mark Jackson providing a 99-95 lead for the Knicks.
The best three-point shooter, Larry Bird, of course, not here, but the other guy is Fox, and he's not in the game. So they went to their next best outside shooter, Kevin Gamble.
Right. But the Knicks very fortunate to come away with a victory, a game that saw them struggle against an undermanned Boston Celtic team. Brought us a 5-point lead, and the Celtics call for time with 0.8 of a second remaining in the fourth. We'll be right back.
Do you, Lester, take Wanda to be your lawfully wedded wife?
No. Look for him to make a move sometime in the next 3 years in this league.
We hear the 2-minute mark for the game. Sean Green is fouled.
Tough night for Ron Tugnut. Rangers with a 6-2 lead. As Chris King with his 7th goal of the season from Tim Kerr, who has a goal and an assist now. Time 6 minutes.
The thing about Tim Kerr, you don't see him carry the puck through the neutral zone too often. He'll give it to somebody else that's a little quicker to move up ice.
Some interesting numbers for the Rangers.
In time, I could have thousands of dollars in my MetLife Mutual Fund. Thousands? What a party that could be.
Scored the last 7 points to surge in front, 100-95. Low-scoring affair the last few moments, but the Knicks have been able to come through, and one of the key men, Mark Jackson, who has done it defensively, earlier did it offensively. It's been a very strong all-around performance for Mark.
It's so hard to reach around a man and steal the ball without committing the foul, and that's exactly what Mark Jackson did, and what a big play that was.
And Mark Jackson is the Evian Natural Spring Water Player of the Game. 26 points, 10 of 15 from the floor, and 5 assists. And for Mark, that is a season high. Celtics with only 11 points in this fourth quarter. Gamble off the mark. So the Knicks come away with a 100-95 victory, and now lead by a game and a half over the Boston Celtics. Apparently there was a foul called at the buzzer. And Gamble will go to the line, though time has run out. This is Academic. Oakley was called for the foul. Gamble hit 1 out of 2, and now the official final score. The Knicks 100 and the Celtics 96. The Knicks led by Mark Jackson, who had 26, and Xavier McDaniel with 29. We'll be back to recap in a moment.
Rogers an old goaltender, you know. I could just hear the rhetoric down there saying, Rog, get ready, loosen up, you never know.
Well, they're looking up at red light. They're looking at you.
Oh, they got no shot here,
Rogers
baby.
saying, well, no, not me.
Mind you, what some of these guys make per game, you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I could go down and sit on the end of the bench.
Of all the guys on the team, who do you think would be most capable of doing it? If
Ty Domi was dressed, he'd be the designated guy.
Wow.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know. That's a real good question.
Would you go with a defenseman?
Probably,
huh?
Yeah. But it's a tough situation.
Would wind up in his hands and give the Knicks a 98-95 lead, a friendly Garden roll. Then with 33.5 seconds left, he pressures the ball and John Bagley and comes up with a steal and then a Bagley foul to boot. The resulting free throws for Mark Jackson with 8 seconds left froze the game for the Knicks, and they went on to beat the Boston Celtics by the final score of 100-96. Wrapping things up at courtside here at Madison Square Garden tonight, the Knicks took on a Boston Celtics team without Larry Bird, without Robert Parrish. Kevin McHale was here and did not play. Dee Brown was also here, and he's not going to play for quite some time. Yet, the Boston Celtics showed off Sherman Douglas at times. They got some baskets.
Last 7.
But the inspirations of Reggie Lewis and Kevin Gamble kept them firmly in the game and in the lead for most of this game. Joe Klein held on for Patrick Ewing and kept him quiet for a large part of this game, but in the fourth quarter, the Knicks rose to the occasion and had it in the end when all was said and done. We're still awaiting Pat Riley's appearance outside the Knicks locker room, and St. John's Boston College basketball still to come. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. An Eagle, Xavier McDaniels in Square Garden, passing 10,000 career points en route to a 29-point night, 14 of 24. McDaniel, for a stretch in the second half, was the Knicks offense. Mark Jackson, a season best 26, along with 5 assists, an impressive 10 of 15. A lot of those on the drive with a soft touch before the jump that Mark Jackson is perfecting. Patrick Ewing, a quiet 18, and another great defensive night for Joe Klein in keeping Patrick Ewing quiet. We'll take a look now at the Boston Celtics. Reggie Lewis started out 7.
Xavier McDaniels, band away, and he hits.
In consecutive games against the Knicks, Kevin Ewing squeezing him in the lane. Patrick Ewing had to work for every one of his 18 points tonight. Pat Riley, in just a matter of moments, will be emerging from the Knicks locker room to meet the media as the Knicks look forward to a very busy week. Their confidence buoyed as a result of this victory. For the moment, we're going to take a little look now at the Budweiser dunk of the game. As always, brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. With that distinctively clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud. We'll go back earlier in this one. The Knicks were moving. This is first half action. John Starks providing some help from the Knicks bench. Xavier McDaniel on the run. Starks spots him with a good pass, and McDaniel with a dunk that was good enough to impress the voters and claim the dunk of the game. Well, the Celtics and the Knicks played a very tight first quarter. Celtics had the lead at 32-31. At the half, it was 59-53, a 6-point Celtic lead. Celtics led by 1 at the end of third. Fourth quarter was close for most of the way. Tied, as I said, with 5 minutes to go at 93, and then the Knicks took over. Mark Jackson, a great night. You tonight. Did that make Daddy play better? We're about to find out as Mark Jackson joins us. What about it, Pop?
Well, it was really something special. It was his Knick debut, and I was just excited to see him over there.
He did look exceptionally into the game when I did glance over there.
Well, I babysitted him all day long today while the wife was at the beauty parlor, and it's an experience.
Mark, let's talk about the Knicks performance tonight and the offense in general. The Knicks offense, very stationary, stagnant in the fourth quarter of the Celtic game. It's your job to make it happen. What kind of things are you thinking as you come into tonight's game?
Well, I take the blame, and I take it personal sometimes when our offense is stagnant, and that's just what happened in the fourth quarter. We played 3 exceptionally well quarters in Boston and then fell apart in the fourth quarter, and I just didn't want that to happen again tonight. Somebody had to step up and create, and as the point guard, I just wanted to make something happen, whether it be for my teammates or for myself, but just to get everybody loose.
Mark, can't say enough about your conditioning. I mean, as people watch this game, they may have seen the last few minutes, but you've been dogging the Boston guards coast to coast all game long. You were on Bagley for most of the inbounds he took. You were on Sherman Douglas the same way. You must be able to keep the fitness that you feel inside as a result of your off-season conditioning and use it as a plus whenever you want.
Well, it has a lot to do with my off-season conditioning, but also staying on top of it and doing it throughout the course of the season. You know, John Bagley and Sherman Douglas are great guards who can get in the middle of the court and make things happen. I just wanted to contain them and keep them in front of me. A couple times it went by, but just stay positive and try to be a spark plug.
Great, Mark. 26 points, an important steal, too. Thanks for coming out of the locker room.
Thank you.
All right, let's see what the coach has to say about all this.
You know, it's about making some plays. They shot the ball extremely well. I mean, you know, Reggie with 23 and then Gamble hitting 11 out of 12 or 13. We just could not stop them from making outside shots, even with pressure. But we never let it get too far away from us. And you know, Mark, Patrick, Oak's big rebound, and you know, we got the win, and that's what it's all about. But I think what it was about is making defensive plays. What we did tonight when the ball was in the air was critical. Guys blocking out, they're not getting a lot of second shots, and of course when the ball was on the floor, what we were going to do with it, and we got down and got 2 possessions. So that was the game right there.
Was it frustrating throughout to play a team that undermanned and not be able to...
Well, it isn't about being undermanned in this league. If you take a look at some of the players that they have, they may not have the big three playing, which is difficult for them. But when one guy gets off and they have nothing to lose, they're playing loose and free, and they're expected to lose. It's a lot easier to play the game. And when they were shooting the ball the way they were, it was very frustrating for us. The 14-0 run on us in about 3 minutes, staggered us for about a period and a half. And finally we gathered ourselves, played. It's not easy in this league, against anybody.
Why do you think they were so successful in containing Patrick?
Well, I think they contained him, but, he made some buckets. He missed some easy shots. He was 2 for 9 in the first half, and, he's missing point blank. He made some big buckets for us in the second half. We didn't go to him as much as we did in Boston. We feel like we milk him too much, and we wanted to go to X a little more and try to get our 2 and 3 spots involved in it. And but the ball continues to gravitate to him when it counts the most.
You mentioned you could feel some pressure hanging over the team. Did you feel that you guys were not playing as loose and easy as maybe?
Yeah, I mean, this is the way it's supposed to be. We got off to a good start. We've been playing good basketball. We're in a little bit of a slump. That disease that affected, San Antonio and in all teams in the league just sort of left on our back, for about a week. And we're not playing well, but we're being very, very, very competitive. And, losing a tough game at Boston, winning a tough game here is what it's about. And we just have to gather ourselves and wait for the rhythm to get a little better. And that's going to happen with this team as we're developing. So it's not going to always be easy. It's going to be hard. And we got to learn to finish the opponent off. Yeah, that creates pressure. Having to win creates pressure, but that's what this is about.
X delivering the whole package tonight.
Yeah, he played well. Shot the ball well. He did a great job on Lewis. How could we get Lewis and Gamble out of their rhythm? It was very difficult. I don't like to come and double team and trap, and we did a little bit of that up in Boston Garden. We gave up second shots, so we just hoped somewhere they were going to miss a couple when it counted the most, and they did.
Yeah, what does it tell you about them that they were able to compete with 3 key players?
The coach,
I think you got to forget
as
that.
always, brought to you by the New York Times. A reminder coming up next on MSG, the tape delay broadcast of St. John's and Boston College. At the half, Bob Page will have the full report from the MSG Sports Desk as this busy day of basketball continues on MSG. By the way, guests who appear on our post-game coverage receive a Be My Guest restaurant certificate from American Express. Honored at restaurants in the U.S. and Canada accepting the American Express card. Be My Guest, the perfect wedding, anniversary, or thank you gift. To order with the card, call 1-800-535-GIFT. Membership has its privileges. We'll get back for some final words from courtside, where the Knicks survive and hold on to beat the Celtics tonight. By identical point spreads and by almost identical scores, the Knicks and Boston Celtics split this home and home. The Knicks winning tonight 196. The season series is tied at 2. The call to the bench tonight is brought to you by New York Telephone, who reminds you the New York Telephone regional calling area is bigger than you think. Let's spell it out from the bench. 17 points for the Knicks bench tonight. John Starks providing 15 of those. Knicks bench providing 17 rebounds. Anthony Mason delivering 12 of those. As I said, the Knicks face a very busy week. Tuesday on the road at Orlando, all here on MSG, of course. Wednesday at home to the struggling Portland Trailblazers. I say struggling on this road trip that they're on. And then this weekend, the Knicks will be on the road themselves again. Friday in Milwaukee, Saturday in Cleveland. A couple of more things to point out about tonight's game. Let's talk about some speed. Let's talk about the fast break of the game, brought to you by Midas. For breaks done right, remember, nobody beats Midas. Nobody. This is the play that delivered the lead to the Knicks for good. After this, they held on to win it. It was John Starks with a spectacular